This is the Planet Reigate podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 37. This is for Saturday the 25th of May 2024. And another packed show for you. The first ever Reigate Summer Festival is just what? Look over here though. It's about 3 weeks away. Learn more about what's planned later with Tim, one of the organisers. Where pills and potions may not help you, acupuncture may just do so. Nicci will be telling us what she does and how you can get a cut price treatment in Merstham. What have you got to lose? Apart from your aches and pains. And the days are getting longer, the strawberry season just around the corner. Wimbledon, only a few weeks away as well. I've been speaking to some of the members of Reigate Priory Lawn Tennis Club. In the news this week, plans for more than 100 new homes in the Planet Reigate area. We'll give you the details. Some local people are getting up to £9,000 council tax rebate after being put in the wrong band. The sale of SES water, we've got the latest on that. Good news from the air ambulance crews over at Redhill. Changes in store for various ambulance services. A local pub is looking to buy its own freehold. You may be able to help. Happy birthday to a local community centre. The theft at the Skim at a hotel locally says it suffered the same fate too. Changes at watercolour are on the way, but not till 2030. We'll tell you the view on that. It's a leap of faith for one local vicar. Great news coming from the Archway Theatre over the summer. Charlwood and Hookwood are after some wombles. And last week we told you about ducks which had gone missing. This week another unusual animal has been found. And in sport, as well as Reigate Priory Lawn Tennis Club, two local football clubs have merged. We'll give you the details. And we've got the good time guide of events across the area over the next 7 days. In travel, I give you the local roadworks heads up so you can avoid the hold-ups. I'll tell you the cheapest local petrol in the area as well. Planet Reigate Stars are from Redhill. We've got some treasure from the Children's Trust. And our 60-second soundscape, before we go at the end of the show, is from Earslwood.
This is the Planet Reigate podcast with Peter Stewart.
I'm out of breath after reading that menu, that list of items. I have not been training for Run Reigate. Don't worry about that. Don't forget to subscribe to the show in your favourite podcast app and tell your friends as well. And it's great to see likes on social media. Even greater to see that you've shared any of our posts or our links to some of your friends in your network as well. I'm Peter Stewart. Welcome to the show, the Planet Reigate postcard. Remember when we used to send postcards? Remember you used to spend a good couple of hours on your holiday, wherever you were, choosing postcards, writing postcards, then working out where do we get stamps? Can you get them from reception at the hotel? Have we got to go into town? What kind of stamps do we need? Do we need airmail stamps? And then finding a postbox and then arriving back home before the postcards. So, you send one to your next door neighbour and they've already heard about your holiday from you because you've rocked up before the postcard did. How did I get to that? Oh, yes, I was talking about the Planet Reigate post bag. Hello. This is what's in it this week. We got a message here from Donna. I wondered if you'd put a shout out for the Ramblers Wellbeing Walks East Surrey. Well, Donna, of course we will. It's exactly what we're here for. She says, I know you frequently mention other walks happening in the area and thought these might be of interest to your listeners as well. Not only is it of interest, but I would want to come along too, because, as friends of mine will know, I like a good ramble. What's that? Usually on the podcast? No, in the countryside. Thank you. Organised in association with the local YMCA in Redhill, these Ramblers Wellbeing Walks. They're free. That sounds good. Accessible walks to improve your physical and mental well-being. They're a range of wonderful midweek walks in our beautiful countryside. Well, of course, beautiful countryside. Across the Planet Reigate area. Reigate, Redhill, Merstham, Buckland, Betchworth, Brockham. With different durations to suit all abilities. You're selling it to me, Donna. A huge dose of friendliness. It gets better, doesn't it? Companionship gets better. What's this? They often finish off with rewarding refreshments at a local cafe. We're sold. They take place all over our Planet Reigate neighbourhood. Donna's been listening. Reigate, Salfords and Merstham. And I love this next line. And some even frequent the Dragon's Realm. It's not me with an umbrella. Donna says you can find a full listing at ramblers.org.uk. And then you've got to kind of dodge around a little bit to see where those walks are, where they're listed. Or you can pick up a leaflet, Donna says, from your local library. Or, indeed, as Donna has suggested, you can listen to the Planet Reigate podcast, and we'll put out a list of those as and when they come up across the Planet Reigate area. So, Donna, of course, thanks so much indeed for getting in touch, and thanks so much for listening as well. Really appreciate it. Another one here. You recall I went to the Earslwood Carnival a few weeks back. Well, news in this week how much they raised. Eco Earslwood, who are behind it all, says, a huge thank you to everyone who supported, shared, sponsored, volunteered and attended the Earslwood Carnival 2024. We raised a fantastic amount, just shy of £6,000, which is amazing. All the money raised goes to your local scout group, Earslwood 2nd Reigate. In 2016, we began our fundraising journey to build a new scouting home and have so far raised an amazing £100,000. And the message goes on, did you know, founded in 1908, Earlswood, 1908. That's extraordinary. When did scouting start? Baden-Powell, wasn't it? Baden-Powell. Just do a bit of on-air production. 1907. Scouting started in 1907 and the 2nd Reigate started in 1908. They're one of the oldest scout groups in the world. Well, it would be. The HQ has been on its current site since 1931, but is now somewhat dilapidated. We desperately need new facilities, and we really appreciate your support for helping us on our journey. Well, that's fantastic news, isn't it? Congratulations, as that post said. Thank you to everyone who supported, shared, sponsored, volunteered and attended Earlswood Carnival 2024. And again, I'd like to wish a very warm welcome to our great supporters of the show. We've got the Belfry Shopping Centre in Redhill. We've got Woodlands Lettings, also in Redhill. And this week, for the very first time as well, Lucy's Ladle in Earlswood. So I'd love you to support all of those three great businesses. The Belfry Shopping Centre, Woodlands Lettings, and also Lucy's Ladles as well. You'll hear messages from them later on in the show, and I hope you'll give them your support in a similar way to that shown by them to the Planet Reigate podcast. And if you'd like to become a supporter of the show, have your message available to the thousands of people right across the Planet Reigate area, then you can drop me a line, hello@theplanetreigatepodcast.com. So maybe yours is a shop, a business, an independent trader. And even though we mention 40 or 50 events a week for free, if you want added exposure, more mentions, cross-platform support and coverage in the several weeks leading up to a show or talk, an exhibition, fair, sale, holiday club, whatever, we can talk to you about that as well. Get in touch. It is hello@theplanetreigatepodcast.com.
The Good Time Guide. Things to do and places to go on the Planet Reigate podcast.
And please remember to subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. You can do that via your favourite podcast app. It may not be called subscribe, it may be called favourite, so look out for that as well. And again, if you want to mention for your events, let us know about it. The sooner the better. And it is hello@theplanetreigatepodcast.com. So we'll always start off with Saturday. So Saturday, May 25th, the Reigate Repair Cafe is up and about at the yard at Reigate Station for 3 hours between 11 and 3. And they're particularly interested, they say, in recruiting new members. So if you've maybe lost your job or retired, you've perhaps got a skill to offer and pass on, helping the environment, of course, and feeling positive and useful, having fun, making friends, they do say please get in touch with us, so I guess drop into the yard at Reigate Station Saturday between 11 and 3 and have a chat with the ladies and gents down there. They say the ethos of the Repair Cafe movement is to help each other to mend things wherever possible and avoid unnecessary landfill and overproduction. Pam says, hello, I love the podcast. Thanks, Pam. We love you. After your lovely article about St Michael's Betchworth, can you please tell people there's a great organ recital with the difference there this coming Saturday at 2:30. It'll be duets played by two excellent organists, Martin Hall and Peter Gould, a variety of pieces with some fun stuff thrown in as well. It starts at 2:30. Tickets £12, includes refreshments, and all for the church funds. And I know they are desperately short of funds there over at St Michael's Church in Betchworth. It was featured in 4 weddings and a funeral, don't you know? Very happy to Pam, and to mention that, Pam, thanks for listening as well. Spread the word. And the episode Pam was talking about in episode 35. It's a big bowls weekend across the country, and that means our local bowling clubs as well. So Reigate Priory Bowls Club, Green Lane in Reigate, of course. As I say, it's a national event promoted by Bowls England, and they're getting involved to essentially, it's a bit of an open day really, to tell people what bowls is all about. You can go down there, you can have some time on the green to test your skills, meet club members who'll show you the ropes. Ropes? In bowls. Have I misunderstood? Oh, figure of speech. Refreshments will be available, so you can give it a try. As I say, Green Lane, Reigate, Saturday between 10 and 3. Mentioned this last week, or mention it again this week. The Nocturne Supper Club event, 7 o'clock, Saturday night, Brockham Village Hall in that fair village. And it's rather unique. They have a different theme each time they do it. And this time, the theme is Schubert, as in Franz Schubert, 1797 to 1828. Apparently there are all sorts of festivals across Europe to celebrate the life and works of Schubert, but rarely here. So those people at the Nocturne Supper Club at Brockham Village Hall at 7 o'clock in Brockham on Saturday night are setting that right. The event, of course, celebrates Schubert and music, but also via a delicious 3-course dinner curated to the life and times of the Austrian composer. So a kind of bohemian food for the occasion. Wines from across Europe as well. And also well-known piano works by Schubert are going to be played over the course of the meal as well. Costs £50 a person, includes that welcome drink, canapes, a 3-course dinner, and audio-visual and live entertainment. And also there's a raffle as well. They say dress for a dinner party. If you want some more details on that, get in touch with me and I'll pass them on, of course.
Email hello@theplanetreigatepodcast.com.
From Saturday to Sunday, and the Earslwood Farmers Market is back because it's the last Sunday of the month. It's a small market that supports local growers, makers and producers of food, and is between 10 and 2 at the Marquis of Granby pub in Earlswood. So get down there and support your local independent traders who work so hard at making things for us to hang on our wall or put on a shelf or maybe to wear or to eat as well. Reigate Priory Park. Classic car show on Sunday. Please arrive between 9 and 10 to show your car. And just before I came on air, I found out that in fact all the bookings for you to take your car, if it is a classic car, although it's all booked up, but please do go along and have a little nose and see other people's cars instead.
Planet Reigate is the North Downs Way and the Pilgrim's Way. And this is the Planet Reigate podcast.
And of course, the Good Time Guide continues a little bit later on, including those half-term events as well. So watch out for those. If you're still undecided about what to do with the ankle biters during the half term, we've got loads of ideas, lots of holiday clubs, lots of things going on, lots of sports, outside activities, And inside activities as well, dance and drama and cooking and all sorts of things a little bit later on in our Good Time Guide Part 2 on the Planet Reigate podcast. We've got so much in this week's episode and so much more in our archived shows as well. If you're a new listener, maybe you haven't actually caught up with episode 24 yet. We took a tour around Hawley's Archway Theatre Company with Elodie and Robert in episode 24. And we also heard from the local actor Caroline Quentin on how living in Reigate and Redhill inspired her to garden. Yeah, she's a bit of a celebrity gardener. She brought out a gardening book, didn't she, a few months ago? And we heard from her talking about that. Find those episodes on our page on your favourite podcast app, episode 24. Our 60-second soundscape at the end of the show before we go. Natural sound from a place you know. And this week, our 60-second soundscape is from Earlswood and Earslwood Lakes. I'm Peter Stewart. Thank you for the loan of your ears to the Planet Reigate podcast. And the Planet Reigate podcast is an official media partner of the Reigate Summer Festival in and around Reigate High Street between the 14th and the 16th of June. Yeah, the Reigate Summer Festival is a celebration of the town's creativity, a weekend of free entertainment for the local community and beyond. And for more information, go to reigatesummerfestival.co.uk. That's reigatesummerfestival.co.uk. So what, it's only a few weeks away now, isn't it? It's Father's Day weekend in and around the centre of Reigate. You know what? It's high time we caught up with one of the people behind the whole idea of the Reigate Summer Festival. Tim is one of the organisers, and I've been speaking to him this week for a catch-up.
I'm bowled over by how enthusiastic everybody's been, and all the doors that we've knocked on have opened, and everybody we've talked to about getting involved has been keen to get involved. So I'm more excited than I was last time I spoke to you.
Excellent. So, and it's website. We'll give the details in a few moments' time, but let's pick out some of those highlights. Okay. Let's kind of go from one end of Reigate High Street to the other, because that main stage is going to be just at the tunnel, isn't it? It
is. So right in the mouth of the tunnel will be the main tunnel stage. So that's where you'll get a lot of sort of rock and pop acts going on there. Friday night, Saturday from about 11 a.m. all the way through to 11 p.m. and then Sunday morning through to 2 p.m. So there'll be music there throughout. Just down from there on the cobbles outside Cafe Nero, we're calling that the Clock Tower stage. There'll be more music there, probably more soloists, bit of busking, more type of music, but also we got a brass band, we got a wind band,
bit more classical music a little bit further down at the church.
Yeah, so if you stroll down to the Methodist church on the high street, we've got a lot of choirs in there. There's also a bit of dance going on in there. And then behind it in the community centre there's an art exhibition, so a lot of the student art from Reigate College will be on display there. And then if you carry on further and you get to Pilgrim Brewery, just beyond the lights, Pilgrim have got jazz going on Saturday, so if jazz is your thing, that's the place to go. And then in between, the pubs are, which are great for doing music anyway, are putting on bands. So places like the Bull's Head, the Red Cross. I know the Venture Inn have got a band on Saturday night. Further out, everyone's getting involved.
And it's not just music, is it? So let's kind of double back up the high street, turn right. Being a pedestrian, of course, you can't do that if you're driving. Don't try that if you're driving, everybody. You've got to go round, as you know. Let's go down to Waterstones, because also we've got some book events as well. But it's a whole arts festival.
Yeah, so Waterstones Bookshop have been brilliant. They've been really keen from the word go. So they've, I think they've got some book signings going on there. There might be a bit more. I think, these things are all still being formulated as we speak, but they're right on board. And then if you carry on, you turn left, you get to the cinema. On Saturday morning there's screenings of films made by local filmmakers, which would be fascinating. Who knew we had local filmmakers out there putting things together? So that'll be really good. And then carry on over the road, you get to the library. So the library is taking part. I think they're doing storytime stuff on Friday, sort of late afternoon, early evening for kids. The parents can take them down. And I think they've got other ideas planned there as well. So the important thing is, as you said, to look at the website where the whole schedule is going to be publicised, so you can just pick and choose what you want to do.
There are also other places, aren't there? The kind of pop-up events at various kind of shops and things like that as well.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, when you sort of go into these shops in Reigate High Street, you find that there are little performance venues you never knew about. There's spaces there, and everyone who's got a space seems quite keen to put something on. I mean, a lot of it is music, but there's also art, and as we've said all along, this is a broader arts festival. So there's dance, there's literature, there's film, there's comedy. Hopefully, we're still working on the comedy.
That's not funny, leaving it to 2 days.
It's all about timing.
And ceramics as well. Was there pottery or something, did I say?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the shop called Dish, where you can go and create your own crockery. Is that what we call it? So you can design it, and they're doing a design competition. So that's definitely something that people and their kids should be getting involved in. Design a plate and get involved with that at Dish. That's at the top end. Church Street, they call it. I mean, I just think it's the extended High Street.
It's the other end of the High Street. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm kind of visioning, Tim, that people perhaps go in and park at maybe a well-known supermarket car park or in one of the adjoining roads or whatever, take the train in, that kind of thing, and then spend a couple of hours just kind of wandering around and getting a coffee and getting something to eat and then doing a few more bits and just kind of having a printout of, or preferably looking on their phone, save paper, and just kind of dodging into various places over the course of 1 or 2 days.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. That's what it is. I mean, everywhere you go, you're going to find something that you can do. But it's a good idea to take a look at the website and plan it so that if you're in Morrison's car park, you've got 2 hours, so you've got to be quick.
Absolutely. Remind us of the website.
ReigateSummerFestival.co.uk. You go on there and you'll find information out about all the venues, but also what's going on. There's a schedule there that shows, and you can filter it. So if you're into drama, you filter it by drama and see what drama's on where. Get that on your phone and just take it around with you wherever you go. But have a look in advance and see what you want to do. I mean, Reigate College has been fundamental in this. Also, Reigate Business Guild has been massively supportive. The council's been really supportive. We've got 3 charities actually on board. We've got Love Works and Renewed Hope, but also the community centre behind the Methodist Church is also a charity. So those are the 3 charities. This whole thing's free. And so if people do want to put their hand in their pocket and show some financial appreciation, they can do that and they can donate to those charities. So they're all providing volunteers to sort of help marshal events and just make the whole thing go smoothly for everybody.
And what do the artists get out of it? It's exposure, isn't it? But also it's doing stuff for the community. It's having a good time. It's sharing their expertise, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing leads to the other. I mean, I've always really felt strongly that most people who put bands together or who do dance or who do drama, they want to perform. It's more about performing than making money out of it. It's about getting an audience. And that's exactly what we're providing. It's what we've always provided with New Music Nights, and it's what this festival's providing. And then once that happens and people come and you get a two-way thing going on between the performer and the audience, and people bond and they feel they're all part of something, and that's where the joy comes in.
So those key details, first of all, the date.
June 14th to 16th.
And secondly, the website.
ReigateSummerFestival.co.uk.
And thirdly and finally, the price.
Zip. Don't have to pay a thing. Just turn up, come down and enjoy yourself.
Zip, nada, nothing, zero, free. Yeah, and you can't say fairer than that, can you? It's going to be a fantastic weekend. Really looking forward to getting down there for both of those days. Father's Day weekend. If you forget the actual date, it's Father's Day weekend. So it's in 3 weeks' time. At time of recording, obviously it could be closer than that, time of listening. It may have already gone by the time you listen to this episode of the Planet Reigate podcast, but we're pleased and we're proud to be official media partners with the Reigate Summer Festival. And if you would like to be media partners with us for your event, however big, however small, get in touch with us. Hello at theplanetreigatepodcast.com. Well, still to come, Nicci on what the point is of acupuncture. See what I did? She runs cut price sessions in Merstham that maybe you should know about. It's really interesting stuff, and it's her thing for the community. Actually, she does a lot for the community, including using her skills at East Surrey Hospital as well to help people with their kind of end-of-life care and people who are in a really serious situation and condition. And I should also say that I've been speaking to, this week, the guys at SASH, the charity at Surrey and Sussex Hospital. You and I know it as the East Surrey Hospital, but that's the official kind of charity. It's the kind of the Friends of group, yeah? And I've been speaking to them about how we can work more closely together, how I can promote some of their fantastic fundraising that they have going there for East Surrey Hospital, the kind of things that they raise money for, and what else they want help with, and all sorts of things. Also, this past week, I've played badminton with friends at Donnings. I've been to several business group meetings in Merstham and Hawley and Redhill as well, and I've recorded an interview in Lye, which you will hear about a little bit later on in a few weeks' time on the Planet Reigate podcast. So it was great to go down to the Plough. The Plough pub is nice, isn't it? If you haven't been there for a while, which I hadn't been, the Plough in Lye was my location this week for the Planet. It was all in the name of business, obviously. All sorts of news coming up now in our Planet Reigate news bulletin, including on the way, we've got details on more than 100 new homes in the Planet Reigate area. Some local people are getting up to £9,000 council tax rebate. A sale of SES water, we've got the latest on that. We've also got good news from the ambulance crew over at Redhill. And a local pub is looking to buy its own freehold. Plus, last week I told you about ducks which had gone missing. This week, an unusual animal has been found. So all of those stories and more on the way in our news sequence on the Planet Reigate podcast. Start off with the news of 120 low-carbon homes in Bletchingley, which have been submitted for public consultation. Now, half of the properties on the site will be affordable to meet with local housing need, according to the developer. Those plans include provision of over 7 acres of public open space, which will be planted with new woodland and a children's play area. So you're probably thinking to yourself, Bletchingley, whereabouts in Bletchingley? Don't often mention Bletchingley. We usually mention Reigate, Redhill and Merstham, and then Buckland, Betchworth and Brockham going west towards Dorking. We don't usually go east, do we, towards Godstone. But Bletchingley and this 120 low-carbon homes, that the estate there would be between Godstone Road and Raby's Heath Road. In that, yeah, you can perhaps picture that, just, yeah, that junction, that area there between those two roads. And the company behind it say that proposed development there, quote, can be accommodated within the existing capacity of the highway and public transport network. Residents of a retirement village in Redhill have struck gold. They're going to get £9,000 or thereabouts after it was confirmed their homes have been in the wrong council tax band for 2 decades. Now, Redhill, obviously, in the area of Reigate and Banstead Borough Council. So this is what happened here. So this is an interesting one. And often if you watch Martin Lewis on the telly, he'll say, do check whether you're in the right council tax band. Well, it turns out these guys haven't been for 20 years. So Band E homes at Oaklands Park Retirement Village in Redhill have become Band D, and the ones which were Band D are now Band C. And people there have been fighting against the bands their homes fell into since council tax was introduced in 1993. The people behind the council tax and the valuation is the Valuation Office Agency. Didn't know that, the VOA. And they say they work extremely hard to ensure properties are valued correctly for council tax purposes. Now, Oakland Park was built in 1989, and it was initially valued highly because retirement villages weren't very common at that time. But prices soon reduced to their more natural kind of market value, and that was significantly less than originally priced. And now residents have won the council tax battle for all 113 properties, and they're going to get a rebate backdated to 1993. Boy, oh boy, a bit of a windfall. That's rather nice, isn't it? Reigate and Banstead Borough Council say setting council tax bands is the responsibility, not of them, of the VOA. previously mentioned. And of course it wants people to pay the right amount. And the VOA says it can't comment on individual cases, but that it works extremely hard, quote, to ensure that all domestic properties are banded correctly for council tax purposes. That story courtesy of the BBC website and also the local Democracy Reporting Service there. The competition watchdog says it's likely to approve the sale of SES Water in our neck of the woods, with their HQ, of course, in Redhill. Pennon already owns 3 UK water companies, and it bought Sutton and East Surrey Water. That's what it used to be called. I mean, that's their kind of official name, but we usually know it as SES Water, back in January. I mentioned it on the show then. Now, the Competition and Markets Authority previously said the deal could make it more difficult for Ofwat, so that's the office, the regulator for the water industry, to analyse and compare data. It'll make it more difficult for them to do that. Pennon has now offered to provide data for SES separately from its other water companies, but a final decision on whether to allow the buyout or refer it for further investigation is going to be made in July. SES supplies drinking water. It doesn't take water away, it just gives the clean stuff, as they're at pains to point out to me when I was speaking to them recently. 845,000 customers across East Surrey, West Sussex, West Kent and South London. The Surrey Air Ambulance Charities raised £1 million in 6 weeks to buy a second rescue helicopter outright. Mentioned this a few weeks ago as well in the show, that they were hoping to raise that money. It's going to be based at Redhill Aerodrome, and it was previously leased by the Air Ambulance Charity. I mean, I say it's the Surrey Air Ambulance because, you know, we're looking at it from our perspective, but it also serves, well, the rest of Surrey, and also Kent and Sussex as well. It's the Kent, Surrey, Sussex Air Ambulance. And buying the helicopter is going to save £500,000 a year instead of leasing it. And they say they're going to be able to fly for an extra 6 hours every day, fly in more challenging weather conditions and therefore save more lives. It kind of stands to reason, doesn't it? And if you do donate, you've still got time through until the 28th of June. If you donate more than £100, you can actually have your name or the name of a loved one actually on the helicopter, which is quite cool, isn't it? When you see it flying overhead on the way to a rescue mission, yeah, Uncle Bob's name is up there. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. South East Coast Ambulance Service. Okay, so from the ambulances in the sky to the ambulances on the roads, South East Coast Ambulance Service, CCAM, has announced a collaboration with 4 of its neighbours. It's all to drive down costs and improve patient care. So it's going to work with the East of England Ambulance Service, the London Ambulance Service, South Central Ambulance Service, that's the next one along, which covers kind of Hampshire and over towards the West Country, and South Western Ambulance Service as well. And if you're thinking, that's going to be a heck of a way for an ambulance to come if I'm after a blues and twos, well, actually, this so-called Southern Ambulance Services collaboration means that the trusts will pool resources in things like buying equipment and training staff. Well, that sounds good, doesn't it? I would have thought. The specifics of the collaboration are still being finalised. Details again on that story from the BBC News website. Okay, back super locally, and we're off to Redhill for our next story. And we're off to the pub. It's the Garibaldi pub in Redhill. It's looking for £500,000 to buy its own freehold. It's a community pub, as you know. It's been run for nearly 7 years by the locals because they all got together, as I say, 7 years or so ago to stop it closing down. But now its future is in doubt again. The Garibaldi pub in Redhill, sidebar, I must look into why it's called the Garibaldi pub. Also, for that reason, the Marquis of Granby, which must be their closest pub neighbours, just the other side of the lights. Why the Garibaldi? Why the Marquis of Granby? Don't know. Just occurred to me. Must look into it. If you know, drop me a line. Hello at the planetreigate.podcast.com. Thank you so much. The Garibaldi pub has been going for how many years? Pop quiz. What do you reckon? You can picture it there. It's just opposite the Common, isn't it? How long do you think the Garibaldi pub has been going for? Well, that scout group we mentioned a while ago, that's been going for over 100 years. So should we say over 100 years? It's 150 years. There's been a pub on that site. I don't know if it's always been called the Garibaldi, but when they're Garibaldi biscuits, I'm going off on one again. 150 years. In 2016, it was set to be demolished before the community got together and took over the management and reopened it, and it's now managed by the Friends of the Garibaldi. Serves locals, keeps prices low, has lots of community events. It's run by a committee. It's non-profit. And they've got some great gardens out the back if you've ever been there. And they run things like language clubs and bingo and quizzes and that veterans breakfast, which we often mention on the show as well. So it's more like a kind of community centre than a pub, isn't it? And you can look out for them on crowdfunder.co.uk. And if you can't find them then there and you'd like to donate, then get in touch with me and I'll pass on the details.
Email hello@theplanetreigatepodcast.com.
Remind me to look up and remind myself what a Garibaldi biscuit was. Was it what we used to call squashed fly biscuits? Is that it? Happy birthday to the Woodhatch Community Centre. A message online this week saying we're incredibly grateful to each and every one of you who's contributed to making this centre a vibrant, welcoming and supportive place for everyone. Your dedication, participation and enthusiasm have turned our centre into a place for everyone, whether you've attended our events, volunteered your time or simply shared a smile and a kind word. That's a lovely way to put it, isn't it? You've played a vital role in our success. Together we've built a community that celebrates diversity, fosters friendships and supports one another. So congratulations to them. Happy 30th birthday to the Woodhatch Community Centre. A theft of a barrel of beer from the Skim just before 6 a.m. Monday morning last. Great footage of two men on social who were caught on camera rolling the barrel away and then having it away in a white van. You can see it on Insta. Search for Skimmington Castle and commenting underneath the Skim saying, "Let's make these lovely cherubs famous. They decided to steal from us at 5:55 this morning. Didn't even have the decency to leave us an empty barrel like the previous thieves have done. So rude." More than rude. Gets you gander, doesn't it, when people have that barefaced cheek? Dear, oh dear. And Reigate Manor commenting underneath, saying they've suffered a similar fate recently as well. So watch out for these lovely cherubs. The view from watercolour over at Redhill should be changing in a few years' time because Biffa's landfill site is coming to the end of its life. Stuart Holmes saying on socials this week it'll be by the end of 2030 and the land will return as green belt, which sounds good, doesn't it? If you've got the idea of taking your dog for a walk, maybe some picnics, flying a kite, access is going to be very limited. Only one footpath is planned and that'll be alongside Cormongers Lane. Why? Well, because it's a landfill site, isn't it? So they've got to monitor for gas, methane coming up, and that's going to continue for several years, several decades. 70 years they've got to continue to monitor for gas. Now, I've been thinking about doing a feature on the area's gravel, earth, sand industries, quarries. So there's an awful lot of it going on. This area is unique in so many ways, but it surely is unusual that so much gravel and sand, full as earth, lime, what else? Was chalk? Yeah, chalk pits? I've got that right, haven't I? Yeah, over at Pebble Hill and so on. What else? And also this landfill. There's an awful lot of people have been coming into the area, stealing our ground, have they? Dear, oh dear. Dear Peter, this could have gone in the Planet Reigate postbag a little bit earlier on, but I'll show you why I've put it in here. Dear Peter, my name is Cliff. I'm with St Matthew's Church, Station Road in Redhill. Station Road, that part of Station Road is oddly named, isn't it? Because you don't kind of consider it. It's actually the elongation of Station Road, which is pedestrianised past that side entrance to the Belfry, and then of course it continues up where the road comes, which is actually a road. Anyway, Cliff says, I see you are behind the very popular Planet Reigate podcast. I am indeed. guilty as charged. I've been really enjoying it with many other fans, thank you so much, and wondered if you could give me a steer with a possible story. I'm helping Reverend Anna Moore, our vicar, out with a bit of media. She's doing a skydive on Saturday. Despite having a dread of heights, it's all to raise money for church funds. There aren't many flying priests around. I wondered if you would consider giving it a mention. Well, of course, Cliff. I mean, to be fair, rather Anna than I. It really is a leap of faith, isn't it? Tandem jump, dropping from 12,000 feet over Headcorn in Kent while strapped to an instructor. She's hoping her descent will raise a healthy sum and awareness of St Matthew's Church in Station Road. Well, raise awareness and raise money for everything that they do there, because they support the local area, Cliff was telling me, in so many ways. They've got a much-needed food bank. They provide the local Ukrainian community with a place to meet. And they've launched a Pride Cafe as a focal point for their LGBTQ+ residents. And while all that is going on, they're facing rising costs to actually keep the building in a decent state and carry out basic general maintenance, the heating, the lighting and so on. If you'd like to support Anna, we must get Anna on the show. She sounds a laugh, doesn't she? And hear more about what goes on there at St Matthew's. stmatthews-redhill.org.uk. The Archway Theatre Company in Hawley, and we're pleased and proud to say that we are official media partners with the Archway Theatre Company. They've got an exciting new collaboration with the Royal Botanical Gardens in Kew. Well, not the Kew bit of that, but the Wakehurst bit of that in Sussex. The Archway Theatre has only been gone and asked to put on 3 weekends of open-air theatre down at Wakehurst. So special open-air performances on the 15th and 16th, 22nd, 23rd and 29th and 30th of June. They're going to be performing A Midsummer Night's Dream by, who was it? Who wrote that famous guy? Beard. Yeah, old guy. Lived in London a bit. The gardens open at 10 o'clock. Entry is included with a ticket. That sounds good, doesn't it? You don't have to pay double wonga. Picnic area opens at 12:30 and the show starts at 2:30, and they say bring a picnic and something to sit on as well. Tickets $17.50 for adults. Won't go through all the different prices, but that gives you a bit of a guide price. 20% reduction for Wakehurst and Archway members. More details, archwaytheatre.co.uk. And once again, we're pleased and proud to be media partners with the Archway Theatre Company in Hawley. Now, do we have any wombles in Charlwood and Hookwood? If so, Charlwood Parish Council need your help. They've organised the first of 2 litter picking events, and the first for, this weekend, Saturday 25th at 10 in the morning. Any volunteers with an hour or two to spare to help spruce up Charlwood and Hookwood will be very welcome to join the councillors. This will help us get the parish looking great for the Parishes in Bloom competition, because we know the judges are going to be soon. Litter picking sticks, high vis and gloves are going to be provided. You can meet outside Charlwood Parish Hall at 10 on Saturday. Hookwood, meet outside Hookwood Memorial Hall at 10. And the message goes, let's show the Wombles of Wimbledon what the Wombles of Charlwood and Hookwood can do, which is a really nice line. Finally, last week we said about ducks which had gone missing from a local farm. This week, found a sable ferret, found loose in the Reigate area. Let me give you a description. Sable is the colour, as you might expect. Location, Reigate. Health, healthy. Sex, male. Collar, no. Oh, so maybe not a pet then. But then it would be, wouldn't it? Yeah, not in the wild. Microchipped, no. Oh, where was it found? In the road. And it was posted on social media by Maven Vets. So if that ferret is yours, that sable ferret, then get in touch with Maven Vets or petsreunited.com. And that concludes your news sequence this week. Still to come, we've got our travel and weather together and our local sport as well. Before we go, at the end of the show, a natural sound from a place you know, and we all know, don't we? we all know Earlswood Lakes. We're off there for our 60-second soundscape right at the end of this week's edition of the Planet Reigate podcast. Just reading now about the Garibaldi biscuit. The Garibaldi biscuit consists of currants squashed and sandwiched between two thin oblongs of biscuit dough before baking. It says here the biscuits are similar to Eccles cakes. Yes, I suppose they are, really, aren't they? And in New Zealand, they're sold not under the name of Garibaldi biscuit. They're actually sold with the name of Fruity Golden Fruit Biscuits. and it also says here their defining characteristic is the layer of squashed fruit, which gives rise to the name fly sandwiches. I haven't called them fly sandwiches before. Fly's graveyard biscuits, dead fly biscuits, squashed fly biscuits, or in New Zealand, fly trap biscuits. Well, there you go. That's all you need to know about the Garibaldi biscuit, apart from why are they called Garibaldi biscuits? I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. That's going to be going right. If only there was somewhere on the internet I could find that out. In sport this week, now I had to read this several times before I understood exactly what was going on, because Reigate Women Football Club is affiliating with South Park Reigate Football Club, and from the 24-25 season is going to be known as the South Park Reigate Women Football Club. So there's a lot of Reigates, and there's a lot of football clubs, and also there's a lot of women, as you might expect. Thank you to everyone who has grown Reigate Women's Football Club to be the amazing club it's become, and we look forward to this exciting opportunity. Goes their release on Instagram this week, so congratulations to them, and looking forward to reporting on you in the future. Now we know what you're called. There's a first team trial match if you're interested in playing for Reigate Priory Football Club on Monday the 3rd of June. 7:30 kick-off at the Netherton Community Amateur Sports Club over there at CR5. And a post on social this week says, FA qualified coaches, tick. Local 4G training pitch, tick. Genuinely excellent culture with club and community put first, tick. Monthly social events. Home matches played at Hawley Town's new defence. Friends and family can sit in the bar and watch the game. Excellent relationships with other clubs to further aid your development and progression. Great relationship in-house with our 4 other Saturday teams. And a brilliant group of lads who all came from different clubs with no prior relationship and are now close-knit. Sounds a good group, doesn't it? Reigate Priory Football Club. Spoke to Dale and Jack from the club in last week's episode of the show, of course. And I put out a call to all of the other local football clubs as well to speak to them. And so far I've spoken to Reigate Priory Football Club and also Redhill Football Club as well. So if you're listening to me and you've got a link with some of those other local football clubs as well, could be South Park, could be Frenchies, whatever, get in touch with me. There's a Royal Earlswood as well. Get in touch with me and we'll do an end of season report with you as well. Hello at the planetreigatepodcast.com. And from local football to national football, or at least, right up the top there with playing in the big leagues. Congratulations to Merstham resident Millie Bright. Yeah, Millie, who's captained, of course, Chelsea FC Women to become the Women's Super League champions by beating Manchester United last weekend. So many congratulations to Chelsea. I was always a bit of a Chelsea fan when it came to, Premier League and so on, football teams. It's funny, isn't it, how you support local clubs? I supported Chelsea because years ago, when I was about yay high, I was given an Easter egg in a mug. Do they still do Easter eggs in mugs? I'm not entirely. I think they do, don't they? An Easter egg in a mug, and the mug just happened to be a Chelsea Football Club mug. So that's how I decided I would support Chelsea. My brother got a Liverpool mug, and so he supported Liverpool. Little bit of insight into the Stewart family. So congratulations anyway, easy for me to say, to Millie Bright. Congratulations indeed, and well done to Chelsea.
The Planet Reigate podcast. Great stories from Reigate.
Just ahead of the Wimbledon tennis season, I've been down to Reigate Priory Lawn Tennis Club to speak with Britt and some of the other players there, Graham and Russell, about what the club can offer players of all ages from right across the area.
Reigate has a long history of tennis. In fact, apparently in the Priory, they used to play real tennis in the Middle Ages. We're just next to the cricket club, and originally they were allowed to play when the cricketers weren't playing on some of the outfields, and they put some courts down. That was in about the 1870s. We, as a club, were first registered, we think, with the LTA in about 1891, which makes us one of the oldest clubs in the area, actually. Arthur Rank, who lived here...
This is the film guy,
This is the film guy, yeah, who was a great philanthropist. He bought all of the area and put it in perpetuity for the cricket club, and we now, with the Bowls Club, since 1919, actually, we just had our centenary, we rent our land from the cricket club, and the club has been sort of developing and growing since then. So
it's quite a sports centre, isn't it? All the sports conglomerating
It
here.
is amazing. On a Sunday morning, you have football, you have tennis, you have rugby next door. In the summer, we have bowls. I mean, it's really a lovely spot, and as you can see, the view and the outlook is amazing. I mean, we think, as we were saying, it's a hidden gem.
When did you start getting involved?
Well, I live just up the road, and I came down in about the late 90s, or maybe just about 2000, and I just had my kids and I wanted to do some exercise, so I get back into some tennis. So I've been here about 25 years, and I absolutely love the welcome. So people were very friendly. Tennis is great, but actually it's the welcome, the social. We have a nice bar, we have people, we have a lot of events, people enjoy themselves, and so that's what we really like.
And now you're the chair.
Now
you stayed too long.
Well, the thing is, if you stay too long, someone will say, "Why didn't you become chair?" And then you have no excuses not to become chair. So it's one of those jobs that it gets allocated to people. So a lot of people have found it. If they've had personal issues or health issues or whatever, they found it a lifeline. They come down and spend a lot of time down here, and people are supportive. And we're very keen on the sort of values of inclusiveness and supportive and family orientated. And welcoming. So we think we try and live those values, and we use them in our decisions.
And where are people coming from? Are they from the immediate town area? Are they coming from a bit further afield?
Well,
I'm guessing some people who join and then perhaps move a little bit further away still come back to that.
Some do, yeah. No, we have people coming from quite a long way away. I mean, obviously the majority will be Reigate based, but we have people from Nutfield, from Redhill, but also people who've moved back up into London or whatever. Some of them still come back and play. So we do have, quite a wide spread.
And Britt, who loved the idea of the club so much, he flew in all the way from California to live nearby, or something like that.
That's exactly why I flew in. I'm still here, but I've been a member here at this club for about 5 years. My whole family plays here, my husband and my 2 kids. And we originally started because my 3-year-old started taking lessons here. Well, she was 3, she's now 9. And my husband said, check out Reigate Priory. They're the friendliest club in the area. He grew up here. And so that's what we did. And he was right. It's just been, as Graham said, it's been almost a lifeline for us. My son's now 5. He's been playing here since he was 3 as well. After my daughter started, I took up tri-tennis, which is the 3 months of tennis and 3 sessions of group coaching for a reduced price, and you get a full membership with that. So that sort of helped me find people of the same level, make friends, and I haven't looked back since then.
Were you a tennis player before?
I played 20 years ago. I played briefly in high school back in California before I realized that tennis should really be played on the grass and the clay in a beautiful British town like Reigate. So I played 20 years ago, and now I'm down here at least 3 times a week.
You've mentioned the family atmosphere, and Graham a few moments ago was talking about how friendly it all is as well. What was it like over COVID when people couldn't do close community things? But I'm guessing tennis still went on.
Once we were allowed back on court, and I think that was one of the first sports that we were allowed to play, and Russell, our head coach, was very good about organising almost not quite socials, but you could get sort of 4 people. I've made incredibly good friends as a result of coming down during COVID times and playing with people that I'd never met before, but now I'm really close with. And so it was for my family an amazing sort of distraction from the things that were going on in the world at that time. And my daughter's really run with it. She now plays at county level and she plays national tournaments, and that's because she's found a love of tennis thanks to what the club here has been able to provide her. They do Friday night junior socials here, which are fantastic. All the kids come down. It's just fun. They all get on court. They play all sorts of crazy games. There's usually snacks in the clubhouse, and you've got the cricket going on as well, and the beautiful weather. And this will forever be her home club. This is where her heart is, and that's where my heart is as well. It's really been a really supportive environment for all of us, and continues to be so.
Some of that must be down to Russell, who's the coach here. That must really make you proud of what Britt was just saying, not just about the success with the children with the tennis, but also that whole atmosphere that is here.
It's a real pleasure to see everybody come to the clubs and make it a lifelong hobby, really, of tennis, and in such fantastic location as what we've got. I think Graham spoke about our grass courts, and we're coming into it now with the weather. We're standing here on a nice sunny day and looking out to just a stunning scenario to be able to play some tennis.
Tell me a little bit about the courts. How do they compare with others perhaps in the area? What's the difference?
Yeah, so what's revolutionised ourselves, and there's other local tennis clubs of Reigate and Redhill, we've all got some artificial clay courts, which just makes it available to play all year round, and it's even better in the wet. It's basically like wet sand, so the wetter it gets, the more grippy it gets. When it's drier, you can slide around and try and recreate some professional tennis moves. Kids sometimes treat it as a bit of a beach and try and make some sandcastles, which we try not to encourage, but that's good fun. We've got the 4 grass courts as well, which is a bit of a dying breed, really, amongst tennis clubs. They open first weekend of May, and they run all the way through to the middle of September. If the weather's good, there's just nothing better than playing some grass court tennis and trying to recreate some Wimbledon moves. Yeah.
And presumably you do see a bit of a boost, do you, with the publicity of that Wimbledon inevitably gives tennis?
Yeah, Wimbledon certainly helps. I mean, tennis, as my wife would tell me, is on every day, and somewhere around the world there's a tournament going on and you can watch it all the time, but specifically in this country, certainly Wimbledon and all the grass court events, and it lends itself to the weather, and the park as well, which is just across the road from us. It's always booming there that time of year as well, and at all times of the day, every day of the year, the courts are almost full. It's been incredible, really.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the programmes that you have to coach, to train people, to move them on to the next level.
We've got a programme every day after school from 4 to 6. We're allowed to use all of the courts, and we get all the kids down, and we have about 250 junior members who come, about 200 train each week, and on Saturdays as well. We have an outreach program into the local schools as well. We're in there after school every day, and we invite lots of the children back to the club to join into the program. We're also with Brookland Special Educational Needs School. We invite them once a week to come here, and we try and give the children, a fantastic experience to help out and to make them enjoy the game of tennis. But with the kids, they move on. So with Britt's example, they started about 3 years old, and we have a TOTS program, and we go all the way through, and it's a big journey for them. There's lots of adventures along the way. We try and pride ourselves on getting them through into senior tennis if we can. I've been here now 20 years, I can't believe that, goodness. But amongst that time, I've started seeing the juniors transition into the senior tennis game. It fills me lots of pride to seeing them win the tournaments, represent the first team, second team, and complete that journey. And I always say it doesn't matter where you are in the world, there's always a tennis club or tennis courts, and if they can find somewhere to go and play, they'll have a social life, and you give them a gift, basically, and so it's really nice to see that.
Graham, this must make your heart sing, mustn't it? You've got some great advocates here for the club.
Russell's known as one of the best coaches in the area, and I think we do have a good programme. The kids seem to love it, they're very happy. There's also, the adults. I mean, I've taken lessons even when into my 50s and 60s, and I think it's a real big part of the club, having that. We have a main tournament, an Yvette's tournament, a handicap tournament, do a lot of fun tournaments. So there's a lot going on.
And Britt, back to you. What do your kids get out of it? Obviously, they've had a certain amount of success, but when there's so many calls on their time with after-school activities, whether it be arts and crafts or extra French lessons or some of the different sports that we've mentioned already, why tennis?
We come down as a family, that helps as well. We're present. It really makes a difference. My husband and I, we've got an hour free. We'll try and come down with the 5-year-old and the 9-year-old. We'll have a hit. There's no other distractions. It's also partly that the coaching team make it fun. And if tennis isn't fun, there's no point in doing it. And they teach the kids the foundations of how to play good tennis, but they let them experiment and they let them have fun, and they don't make it a chore. The benefits of tennis for a young family they're endless. My kids have learned great hand-eye coordination. It's helped their confidence and their self-esteem because they have to learn to persevere. They've learned how to win, which is lovely, but more importantly, they've learned how to lose, and that's good. You know, it's a good thing to learn how to lose and to come back the next day, pick up the racket and do it all over again. And they have friends outside of school, and so do I. So, you know, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I have so many friends here at the tennis club from all different backgrounds, different ages, people I never would have had the opportunity to meet given my current life circumstances. So that's what keeps us all coming back.
And you want to encourage more people to come down and experience what your family has. I know you've put together a special offer for Planet Reigate listeners.
That's right, yes. We'd like to offer Planet Reigate listeners the Try Tennis program, which is normally 3 months of tennis and 3 group coaching sessions for £75, but we would like to throw in an extra month there. So 4 months of tennis membership, and that's the full membership, so you can come to all the social events. You can book a court anytime you'd like, and the 3 group coaching sessions, and we feel it's going to give you an idea of what this club is like. It's going to give you contacts, people to play with going forward, and hopefully start fostering the love of tennis that we all have.
Yeah, so why don't you take up that offer from Britt, that special offer for Planet Reigate listeners only. Sign up for their Try Tennis programme, and they'll give you an additional month's membership for free. So that's 4 months membership instead of 3, plus 3 hours of group coaching if you quote Planet Reigate when you email them to sign up. And all tennis levels are welcome. So if you want to get involved with that, then why don't you? More details at wp.rpltc, WP WordPress, I think, .rpltc, Reigate Priory Lawn Tennis Club.co.uk. Try-tennis is what you're after there. And yeah, tell your friends all about it as well. Well, take advantage. Look, someone's giving you something kind of cut price here. Take advantage. You know it makes sense.
The Good Time Guide. Things to do and places to go on the Planet Reigate podcast.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the Planet Reigate podcast in your favourite podcast app so you don't miss an episode. Maybe called subscribe, maybe called follow, whatever it is. Make sure you tick that box. Be very, very grateful, and then it'll download automatically every week. And if you want to mention for your charity, your non-profit event, whatever else is going on across the Planet Reigate area, Reigate, Redhill, Merstham, Buckland, Betchworth and Brockham, drop me a line and you'll find out the form on the Planet Reigate podcast. Yeah, fill out the form there and that'll come straight through to our studios. So it's going to be a busy week, isn't it? What with half term and also a bank holiday as well. So let's get cracking. Monday, May the 27th, Gatton Park have a fairy tale treasure hunt going on Spring Bank Holiday Monday between 1 and 4. Join the characters from well-known fairy tales and children's favourites in a treasure hunt around the grounds of Gatton Park, ideal for families and younger children. You've got to book, gattonpark.co.uk, adults £6, children £3. Mentioned it earlier, the bowls big weekend. Come and try lawn bowls for free on Monday the 27th. This is a Redhill Bowling Club. So the Reigate colleagues have got their event over the course of the weekend proper, and then Redhill Bowling Club have got their event on Bank Holiday Monday. It's between 10 and 1. All ages and abilities. Free coaching, excellent facilities, social and competitive, licensed clubhouse and a large car park. We've mentioned them before, haven't we? Because I remember mentioning John's phone number and pointing out what a fantastic phone number it was. You can judge for yourself when I read it out in 2 seconds' time. They're sited just off St Anne's Drive in Redhill, redhillbowlingclub.co.uk. And John is the man with the answers to your questions about Redhill Bowling Club. 07817 61 61 61. If that's not a great phone number, I don't know what is. On Tuesday, do you have a child aged 4 to 12 who belongs on the stage? Parents apparently love the SCTA workshops. Yeah, this May, your child can join the Academy for 1 to 3 days of drama, dance and singing at St Matthew's Church Hall in Redhill. Mentioned them earlier on, didn't we? And you can find out some more info at sctatheatreacademy.co.uk. Brockham Arts Club Children's Workshop. They've got several things going on, so let's put them all together for Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. First of all, on Tuesday, between 9 and 1, got to paint 'em all, Pokemon-inspired workshop. On Wednesday, between 9 and 1, it's a Shake It Off Taylor Swift-inspired arty workshop. And on Thursday, same times, the Dancing Queens and Creative Dreams workshop is all based around Mamma Mia. So arts and crafts and musical theatre fun. So all that is going on at brockhamartsclub.co.uk. If you're looking for something a little bit different, Reigate Squash Club. Say if you're looking for a fun activity over the half term, you could sign up for our junior squash camps on the 28th and 30th. Whatever your level, beginner to advanced and everything in between, you can join the person who's behind it all, who'll be able to teach you everything that goes on as regards squash, and that's Danny Lee, who's going to be down there at Reigate Squash Club. I was there a few weeks ago, and you'll be able to hear more over the forthcoming weeks from Reigate Squash Club. If you want some more information on that, £15 a session, limited spaces. You can WhatsApp Danny on 07905 102 094. The Popstar Academy at Step in Time Theatre School has various events going on, 28th to the 31st of May, and they say love Taylor Swift and Beyonce, Katy Perry, Harry Styles, 8 till 3 p.m. You can get involved at Lime Tree Primary School, but everyone's welcome. You don't actually have to go to the school to go along, and you can have just a couple of days or one day or the whole week, whatever it happens to be. And it's singing, dancing, acting lessons, where the lessons are taught by industry professionals. So the children will learn their favourite song alongside a super cool dance, and they'll be also learning about mic skills, stage presence and loads more as well. And then in the afternoon things get a little bit messy and creative. Tuesday, glitter slime. Wednesday, arts and crafts. Thursday, design your own cap for the talent show. And Friday, there's a rehearsal, party, and it's show day. More information, bookwen.com/step-in-time theatre school. That last bit is all together. So bookwen.com/step-in-time theatre school. May half-term holiday camps now available. Play Ball, Reigate and Banstead are running a timetable. You can go to playballkids.com or email office@playballreigate.com in order to book. That's all the information I have on that, but check out their website for more details. The Petite École de Reigate. Was that French enough for you? It's as good as it gets with my CSE Grade 3. Bilingual holiday camp during May half term, calling all young space enthusiasts. Is there somebody in your life who's ready for an out-of-this-world adventure at an upcoming bilingual holiday camp? Oh gosh, I'm just reading this script now, and there's a load more French. How am I going to get through this? De la Terre à la Lune. Un voyage dans l'espace. Is that okay? I don't know. Maybe I should go along. They'll be exploring the wonders of space. No need to be bilingual. Thank the Lord. To have fun on our interstellar journey filled with discovery and excitement. So sports and art and craft activities and a bit of French phone-in for good measure as well. So that sounds a little bit different, doesn't it? Our experienced bilingual staff will guide your little astronauts through a range of activities, games and projects to spark their imagination. So is there someone in your life who is keen to learn more about space, the mysteries of the cosmos, learn about the planets, stars and galaxies, and engage in hands-on activities that'll ignite their curiosity about the universe? That does sound different, doesn't it? Tuesday 28th, Wednesday Thursday 29th. It's 9 till 4, £55, and the location is Earslwood Junior School in Redhill. For more information, contact Lucille. I know Lucille, lovely lady. 07913 811 345. Looking for holiday clubs that your kids will love? Well, we've got some more information now. We just mentioned planets, haven't we? This is going to be a Star Wars Day at the club, which is being run at Dover's Green School, plus Charlie and the Chocolate Factory Day, a tribal castaway survival day. So if you're interested in any of those different themes, the outdoorsproject.co.uk, and look for the entries under Reigate and Redhill. This not necessarily one for the kids, one for the adults, right? Not in that way. Reigate has a speaking club that meets twice monthly at the Reigate Community Centre. If you want to improve your public speaking, don't miss it. There's no cost to attend as a guest. Go along, make new friends, learn techniques to improve your public communication skills, which are so valuable to personal and professional lives. And various dates, 28th of the 5th at 7:15, and then I've got a couple of dates in July as well. January, February, March, April, May, no, June, beg your pardon, June. The 10th of June and the 24th of June at 7:15. It sounds interesting. I might try and get along to that. At Reigate Rhetoric is where you need to search. So it's Reigate Community Centre on the High Street there, and they meet the 2nd and the 4th Monday of the month at 7:15. On Wednesday the 29th, another half-term workshop for children aged 4 to 10. Fun-filled activities in dance, drama, singing, craft and games, led by a fabulous team of performing arts teachers. For more details, ReigateDanceCentre.com for that. And also the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang workshop on Wednesday is a half-term activity, a fun-filled workshop driven with immensely popular tunes and family favourites, an all-inclusive day for children involving dance, singing, drama, crafts and games, 10 till 2, a Reigate Community Centre, and that is £28 per child. I'm just trying to think, it's my favourite song is from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And at the moment, I can only think of one. Don't know if you know it. It's the one that goes bang, bang, chitty, chitty, bang, bang. Our fine, four-fendered friend. Which, if you say it fast enough, as you're supposed to in the song, it's a bit of a tongue twister, that one, isn't it? Thursday the 30th, a meeting of a network group that's been created for existing or aspiring founders for innovative startups. So this is nothing to do with half-term activities. This is for what we used to call grown-ups. Now, it doesn't have to be in tech, but you should be working on a novel approach to creating a new product. This is seriously interesting and different, isn't it? Let's read on. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, this group is the perfect opportunity to connect with like-minded individuals, get valuable insights and grow your professional network. This is a bit different from other business networking groups. You can go along to the market stores in Reigate for an evening of networking, sharing ideas and general startup chat. It's all about people who want to start an innovative business. It's free to attend. It's informal. And they welcome new members. That sounds a bit different, doesn't it? If you want some details, it's one of those really pesky Eventbrite details, which are great to click on in an email, but really awkward to read out on a podcast. So get in touch with me and I'll put you in touch with them.
Email hello@theplanetreigatepodcast.com.
Well, let's move on to Mark Pembridge Elite Coaching. Half-term training days, May 30th and 31st at South Park FC, and it starts at 9:30 and you pick up at 2:30. One day £30, 2 days £50. They teach the 5 core skills, receiving and passing with both feet, and all sorts of things going on there. Work on strength and weakness as well. More information, Mark Pembridge, that's an M in the middle, Mark Pembridge Elite Coaching @gmail.com. The Stage Studio are running a Harry Potter half-term workshop. So you ready to immerse your little wizards and witches into the enchanting world of H. Potter? Then look no further. It's a themed workshop for 5 to 12-year-olds. Thursday the 30th, 11:30 to 2:30. And 5 to 12 years old, £20 a child. It's at Very Yoga Focus House, Bell Street in Reigate. And they'll embark on a journey to Hogwarts, singing and dancing. You can groove to some magical melodies. And games, your little ones will engage in exciting games that'll test their wizarding skills and teamwork. And arts and crafts, all to do themed with witches and wizards and so on. More details, it's another pesky address that is really difficult to read out. Get in touch with me, I'll put you in touch with them.
Email hello@theplanetreigate.podcast.com.
On Friday, the Reigate Beer Festival runs from Friday through until Sunday in Priory Park. Organisers, Craft Beer Folk, describe it as an outdoor craft beer festival with live music, quality street food and great beer. Tickets are £10 for the day. More details, Reigate Beer Festival website. Calling all landlubbers, join us for a night like no other on Friday the 31st of May, when the shanty band, the Full Shanty, will lead us through some favourite shanty songs, with all the crew joining in for the choruses and sing-along sections. Friday, as I say, 7:30 for an 8 o'clock start. Tickets £12 a person, includes a light buffet. Bring your own drinks. It's at the YMCA Sports and Community Centre, Princes Road in Redhill. What shall we do with the drunken sailor and all that kind of stuff, I'm guessing. Saturday the 1st of June, from Unison Choir, who are taking part in this. It's the Missing People Choir. And this year, the Missing People's Choir 10th anniversary. And on Saturday the 1st of June, the choir, Unison, and friends are taking to the streets of London, walking and singing together to raise awareness of the wonderful Missing People charity and to raise money for the vital services they provide. They're going to be singing in Leicester Square, Covent Garden, Trafalgar Square. So if you would like to get in touch with the Missing People Choir, you can do so with the lovely Nina.Bromman at missingpeople.org.uk. Nina's got a finger in lots of musical pies, hasn't she? If you would like to join them, because you could go along and sing with them, with Nina, and as you know, the Unison Choir hails from our neck of the woods, and they're going up to London to raise money and awareness for the Missing People organisation. You can get involved with them. So if you want to, it's Nina.BROM for mother, HAM, as in the meat, missingpeople.org.uk. East Surrey Walkers Group have got another of their walks on Saturday the 1st of June. They're going to be going 6 miles at a leisurely pace, led by Judy, and they're going to be going off from Bletchingley. They get a second name check this week, don't they, your good friends at Bletchingley Village? Meeting at the car park up the side of Lawrence's, the auctioneers, for a walk to Redhill, returning back by bus. That's an interesting walk with good views through 2 nature reserves, no styles, and possible lunch in the Redhill Street Market before you go back. Starting time at 10, finish at about 1. And so you know where to meet and so on. If you want some more details, then Judy is the lady with those that she can pass on. 07938 325 891.
The Belfry Shopping Centre, Redhill. Ditch the click for hassle-free local shopping in a welcoming environment. See, touch, smell and try before you buy, and speak to real people who can advise you. The Belfry Shopping Centre, Redhill. Woodlands Lettings, connecting landlords with tenants for over 20 years. If you have a property to let, pop into our office on Station Road by the Belfry main entrance for a coffee and a chat. Or call 01737 372 797.
Hi, I'm Lucy of Lucy's Ladle in Earlswood. You may know me from my home delivery of soups, stews, salads and snacks across RH1, 2 and 6. I'm in my kitchen finalising plans for my special midsummer supper menu. There's a creamy cannellini bean, pea and basil hummus topped with caramelised spring onion and served with homemade seeded crackers. Then a summer veg tagine with courgette, new potatoes and green beans, or a Thai coconut curry with mixed peppers, aubergine and baby corn. To finish, I'm doing an apricot, fig and amaretto compote. 3 courses, £45 for 2 people, delivered to your door in time for dinner on June the 21st. To order, call me on 07983 651 678.
This is the Planet Reigate podcast. In a moment, we celebrate local heroes with our weekly Planet Reigate Stars award. And of course, there's so much more in our archive shows as well. Looking back at episode 25, I started telling the story of the wartime plane crash on Reigate Hill. It was actually stripped over 3 episodes, but as I say, started in number 25 with the reason that plane was up there in the first place. Where was it coming back from? Why did it been out there? Okay, we'll find that out in episode 25, and you'll be able to find that episode on our page on your favourite podcast app. And last week, it was the story of the local windmill that was saved from demolition. I was inside the windmill at Charlwood with Pete James to hear about its fascinating history. Also last week, we looked ahead to the big Hawley Carnival with Mike George, and we looked back at last season with players from Reigate Priory FC, their scorelines, their successes and their star players. Okay, so we've looked back, let's look forward to next week. And do you have a dog? Do you think they perhaps need a little bit more kind of socialisation, bit of playtime, meet and play with other dogs? I've been to speak with Phaedra, who runs weekend morning sessions in Reigate that she coordinates on social media, so the group is called Facebark. You see what she did? Hear more about her and the group in next week's show. And what changes would you like to see to Redhill? Pippa has been giving me a tour, and she's got an interesting plan to make it easier to get from the railway station into the centre of town and bypass that really awful and dangerous junction by the bus station. Hear what she has in mind and see whether you agree in next week's episode of the Planet Reigate podcast.
Planet Reigate Stars, thanking local heroes who are out of this world.
Let's sprinkle a little bit of stardust on a local hero or several local heroes. Now, I had a word with Robin in the week. Now, Robin, you'll remember from last week's show, wrote to me to say how he had been out on the morning of the Dawn Chorus Day a couple of weeks back, very, very early one morning, and came back to the car park. And he saw a few young lads in a car, and he had words with them. Nice words, and they had nice words back. And he wrote to me a couple of weeks ago, didn't he? And I also caught up with him in the week, and he told the story again, how impressed he was with these young people. And he said, I really loved your story as well, Peter, how you said that young people aren't all they're cracked up to be when it comes to a bit of negativity. And actually, you're just hanging around. They've got nowhere else to go very often. And this kind of fits into that scenario, because here we go with this week's Planet Reigate Stars. Quote, just a quick note to applaud some brilliant behaviour my girlfriend and I appreciated at KFC this afternoon. We were delighted to see not one, but 3 separate groups of teens act with fantastic respect to their surroundings and to others, cleaning up after themselves, properly wiping down the tables after their visit. And on our way out, another young man held a door open for us, like it was no big deal. These young people were a fantastic example to others of all ages, and it's always important to applaud great manners and decorum. Hats off to you, and I hope they get treated just as well as they treat others. Isn't that absolutely fantastic? And it just goes to show, doesn't it? What fantastic people we have of all ages right across the Planet Reigate area. So to those teenagers, and maybe a teenager you know who is sometimes tarred with the wrong brush, let's give them a little bit of Planet Reigate stardust instead of giving them the brush off.
The Planet Reigate podcast. Great stories from Merstham.
Have you got an ache or a pain? Maybe the GP's been unable to help. Maybe they've prescribed some pills that you're not very happy in taking. Have you ever tried acupuncture? Well, Nicci runs cut price sessions in Merstham and has been telling me what she may be able to do to help you.
Welcome to our community acupuncture clinic. We run here in Merstham on a Monday evening from 4:30 until 8 o'clock. And as you can see, we've got 3 different beds set up in the hall, which means that we can treat multiple people at the same time. And that's part of the whole idea of the community multi-bed, a type of model that's very common in places like China, and it's starting to become more common in the UK because it allows us to bring down the cost of the acupuncture. Because we're managing to treat multiple people at the same time, we can make something a little bit more accessible.
Okay, so there are 2 elements here. First of all, the acupuncture, then we'll talk on to the community aspect as well. What kind of situations and problems can you help with acupuncture?
The basis of acupuncture is trying to remove stagnation or blockages, but it's also there to help support and strengthen the body in certain areas. A lot of people will have come across it for musculoskeletal problems, so you might have had acupuncture with your osteopath or your physio. So we also do that kind of acupuncture here. So it's a few thousand-year-old art. It's something that can be used for quite a wide range of different conditions. So, for example, this evening I'll be treating some ladies with hormonal issues, so linked to the menopause. I also quite frequently treat ladies with fertility support. We'll also help with digestive issues, headaches, and even mood things, because Chinese medicine sees things as integrated. So they see physical health and mental health as one integrated package. So we can use the same kind of treatments to help to support mental health.
Show me where the needles are. I can't see. You haven't got them out yet. You haven't got. You get them out for me. Is that okay? Because I'm intrigued to see. And while you do that, let me ask you the question that. So you're putting them in these strategic points because these are certain kind of lines of, energy through the body, is that right?
Yeah, so there are energy channels and meridians through the body. And if you look at it from a Western perspective, there's been some research, because Western medicine are starting to get interested in how does this acupuncture thing work. And they believe that these are layers of fascia that are laid down in the womb. So they're not as mysterious as energy channels. They could be just seen as fascial planes in the body. And the idea is that there's a way of having either nerve impulses or electrical impulses through those. So yes, you're sticking a needle in someone's foot perhaps to try and help their hip, but there is actually a connection through the body that connects the foot to the hip.
Okay, and these are they. So these are really tiny, thin needles. Do they have an actual specialist name, do they, or are they just literally called needles?
We just call these acupuncture needles. They are the thickness of a human hair. So they're nothing like when you go to the doctor and get blood taken or anything like that. It's nothing near as scary as that.
And because where they go in, they're not hurting, is that right?
In the vast majority of cases, there's almost no sensation at all when you use the needle. On occasion, when we have to stick one into an area where there's not too much flesh, like a fingertip or something like that, it might just pinch for a few moments. But you should never have pain that stays.
Talk to me about that community aspect, because I'm guessing if you have acupuncture privately, that's going to cost you an awful lot on your insurance or out of your own pocket at the time. So why are you doing this in the community? Who's it helping?
Yes, so you're quite right. Private acupuncture is more expensive because, number one, you're seeing people one-on-one, and also you're creating a slightly different environment. What we're trying to do with the community clinic is to help people, firstly, who can't afford the private acupuncture rates, but particularly people who might need to come for more regular treatments. So acupuncture is a core to healthcare in China. And in China, you'll have people who have a Western medical condition, they'll have a surgery, they'll go through a Western medical treatment, but then they'll use acupuncture side by side with that to try and help support their recovery, for example. And in those cases, they're often seeing their acupuncturist 2 or 3 times a week. Now, that's just not practical at all. If you're looking at acupuncture rates that are 60, 70 pounds an hour, for most people are going to struggle to do that. But if you do need to come more regularly, either because you're recovering from some acute condition, or if you've got a long-term chronic condition, I wanted to create a way for people to be able to access that.
So is this quite unusual, this kind of idea of community acupuncture in the UK?
It's becoming more common, but I believe we're the first community clinic in our area. I know there's a few of them down in Brighton and a few in London, but there's nothing in this local area, or there wasn't when we set up.
So why are you doing it?
That's a good question, because my background is I'm actually also a part-time actuary.
Well, that's what I thought. You're an actuary and you're an acupuncturist. It feels as though you're going through the dictionary a little bit with your jobs.
Yeah, very slowly as well. I spent quite a lot of time as a trustee to Age Concern, so that's a little bit of the link behind why I'm here today. Really, as part of that, got to see some of the kind of what I'd say were the gaps in the system, particularly for people that maybe couldn't afford private. After doing that, I started looking into how I could help support the community a little bit more, did a bit of exploration of social care, and decided very quickly that I can't believe how amazing social care people are, but it's just not something that I could possibly do. So I tried to find something that played to my passions. And I'd been doing Tai Chi and Qigong, which are Chinese exercise forms for health, for about 15 years. I was teaching them a little bit, and someone suggested, why don't you try acupuncture? And it was like one of those suggestions where you think, why didn't I think of that sooner? So I did a 3-year degree in acupuncture. And I came out of that about 18 months ago and have been trying to set something like this up off the back of that. But this is really what I wanted to do, kind of try and use my skills and my passion to work in the community.
So you're fully qualified up, you've got all the bits of paper and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to be registered with the local council and all of that. So they're very much making sure that kind of we're operating in the right way. And we have lots of different standards as registered acupuncturists in the UK as well.
Okay, so if people are interested, we'll give you those contact details in a few moments' time. You also do some work down at the hospital, don't you, down at East Surrey?
I do, you remember well. So again, this is to try and keep connected to the community, and going back to the voluntary work I used to do. They asked me if I would help Macmillan, the cancer support charity, and they've got an amazing centre down there. So once a week I spend a few hours in the afternoon doing pro bono acupuncture with some of the patients.
And how is that helping them? So obviously Macmillan is the cancer charity. So how is acupuncture helping some of those patients?
So we're largely treating the side effects of the chemo and radiation. And so I treat a wide variety of things. It's kind of whatever presents. But largely we get peripheral neuropathy, which is a side effect of chemo, hot flushes and night sweats. Again, these are side effects of the medications people are on. And then obviously pain, because a lot of these patients are kind of stage 2, 3, even stage 4 cancer. So they are just trying to manage their pain at the same time as going through some pretty intensive treatments.
And are you able to see almost immediate effects, or is this something that just kind of can move in slowly but then move out slowly as well, as far as that pain relief goes?
For the cancer patients, we do see impacts on the pain reasonably quickly, but because the condition is kind of a ongoing condition, it's not like you've just strained your hip and we can resolve the pain in the hip and then the hip gets better. If you've got a tumour that is there and is causing pressure on other parts of the body and causing pain, we can try to address the pain and help you, but after some time it's going to come back. So that is very much, we kind of have to keep on going. Whereas some of the other patients that I treat, for example, here in the community clinic, will be able to have longer lasting impacts. But again, a lot of the conditions we see, a lot of people are coming to acupuncture having tried Western medicine and not been able to get satisfaction from it, or it hasn't worked for whatever reason. So we see a lot of chronic patients who've had conditions for 10, 20 years. And that's something that we have to manage the conversation with them about. You know, we can help with our intention is to move you in the right direction. We certainly want to see you having reduced frequency of symptoms and improvement in your symptoms. But this, like any medicine, isn't magic. We can't stick one needle in and all your problems will be solved.
And it's worth trying, and you're not shelling out too much.
So we have a sliding scale for our appointments. So our initial appointment is an hour and a half. So because we do a full case history, because Chinese medicine is very individual. So we really want to understand not just about what's happening with your digestive system, for example, but we want to know all of the other things that are going on with you, because they could be connected, as well as the diagnosis and your first treatment. And that first appointment is £35 or £40. But then after that, you have an hour-long appointment and you pay anywhere between £25 and £40 for that. And again, the patients decide how much they feel they can afford to pay.
It is happening here in the Age Concern building in Merstham. And actually, it's not bad, is it? It's not like a church hall, really. There's carpets on the floor. You've got blinds on the window, so anyone walking past might see you with your shirt off or whatever it happens to be. They won't be able to, and so on. You've got screens between those different beds and so on. And also, you're paying rather less than you might do at a private place in the posh end of town or going up to London or something like that. How can people get in touch with you, Nicci?
acupuncture-surrey.co.uk, and there's an email address on there which is info@acupuncture-surrey.co.uk. We also have a Facebook page called Acupuncture Surrey. What I'm trying to do with the blogs and things that I'm posting is try to include information about what acupuncture can help with, but also give some stuff that you can do yourself at home, because that's the whole purpose of this, is kind of trying to make things more accessible for people.
Oh, thanks very much indeed to Nicci. Hopefully you can take advantage of her community kind of outreach and her lower prices there for acupuncture. And as she was saying there, acupuncture can be used in many different kind of areas. It's not just necessary for an ache or a pain, but menopause, as she mentioned there, and also her help. And congratulations and thanks for her help that she does over at East Surrey Hospital as well. Very, very important work. I'm Peter Stewart. Thank you for listening to the Planet Reigate podcast. And hopefully you get value out of the podcast. I mean, today we've mentioned all sorts of different events going on. We've brought you a whole series of news items. We've got more items still to come. Brought you 3 different sets of interviews. And you know what? I mean, let's be honest. This is in addition to the day job, and I love doing it, but it can only keep going if I keep up my listening numbers and, in fact, increase those listening numbers, which at the moment seems to be happening. But I still need that impetus. So there must be something that you've heard today that's made you go, that's interesting, or I like that, or I didn't know that, or I'm going to go to that. And maybe there's something that you've thought to yourself, oh, I must tell so-and-so about that. Because if there is, make sure, please, that you tell them about the Planet Reigate podcast. That's where you heard about it. And support the people who advertise with us. So now we've got the Belfry on board, we've got Woodlands Lettings, and also this week, Lucy's Ladles, who are advertising with us as well. So please support those local advertisers who are helping to support me. And you can support me as well directly by buying me a coffee. And you do that by buying me a virtual coffee by going to this website and then kind of tipping me via phone the price of a cup of coffee.
Support us at buymeacoffee.com/the Planet Reigate podcast.
In fact, here are all of our details, so you can pass them on to other people in your family, your friends, your colleagues, your neighbours, whoever it happens to be. I really appreciate your support. But as with anything, it only continues if the support continues.
Email hello@theplanetreigatepodcast.com. Find out more at theplanetreigatepodcast.com. Leave a text or voice message on WhatsApp 07917 874 572 and leave a review on your favourite podcast app. Support us at buymeacoffee.com/the Planet Reigate podcast.
And we're also on Insta and we're on YouTube as well. Yes, you can actually listen to every episode of the Planet Reigate podcast on YouTube. I know a lot of it, there aren't any more pictures or anything like that, but you can listen to us via YouTube if that is your platform of choice. Planet Reigate area travel, we give you the heads up so you can avoid the hold-ups. Ongoing roadworks, Dover's Green Road, Cockshot Hill, Prices Lane, on and off until October. Redhill, Earlsbrook Road till December, Salford's West Avenue till October. Charlwood, Russ Hill Road is closed for essential gas repairs until June the 28th. Also this coming week, Ray Lane in Reigate, drainage work is going on till the 28th. Silverley Gardens in Hawley, pavement reconstruction works through until the 26th. There's a giveaway system in operation there. Now, some advance notice that national highways are closing the M23 between junctions 8 and 10 overnight. including lane closures between the hours of 9 at night till 4 a.m. and 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Those closures needed for essential resurfacing work. So quite detailed information here. M23 junctions 9 to 10. 3rd of June for 3 nights, 10th of June for 5 nights, 17th of June for 3 nights. At junction 10, 20th of June for 2 nights, 24th of June for 4 nights, 1st of July for 4, 9th of July for 3. M23 junction 9 northbound entry slip, 8th of July for 1 night. M23 junctions 8 to 9 lane closures, 6th of June for a couple of nights, and more lane closures between junctions 9 and 8. On the 12th of July for 1 night and for 5 nights starting on the 15th of July. OK, let's tell you the cheapest local petrol within 5 miles of the old town hall at the time of recording. It is 142.9 at Tesco Extra, Reigate Road in Hookwood. Travel and weather and treasure together on the Planet Reigate podcast. OK, so we've had the first of those. There's the travel, and here comes the weather on the Planet Reigate podcast. Treasure still to come from Julie Beams at the Children's Trust, Bell Street in Reigate. OK, here we go with the weather then. Dry and fine with warm spells of sunshine on Saturday. On Sunday, some clouds, some warm sunny spells, and scattered heavy and perhaps thundery showers developing from the southwest. Monday, bank holiday of course, will see clouds and scattered showers in the morning becoming frequent in the afternoon, and those showers will be heavy and thundery in places.
Hidden treasure on the Planet Reigate podcast.
Another week and another podcast item from the Children's Trust. Find us on Bell Street, Reigate. We have an item that's come from an era of sophistication and glamour. So it's circa 1940s, 50s. It's really difficult to pin it down. There's no maker's mark, but it is a classic brown reptile skin vintage frame bag. So yes, it's leather. So it has a lovely feel about it and a lovely, obviously, textured surface, including the handle made of the same leather. So there's no maker's mark in this. However, some have been designed by Mappin and Webb, Fassbender. Sometimes they're described as a Kelly bag. It has a gold clasp and suede interior, which is a lighter sort of slightly sort of creamy beige colour. Has a gold clasp on the top, single handle. Suede interior has 3 interior pockets, one of those being zipped. So even all the way back then, those items that you didn't want to inadvertently slip out could be tucked away. So there's the smaller of those pockets holds a mirror. So it's just a basic piece of glass. So I'm not sure if that would have been original, but it would still hold something more to your liking. There's an amazing sort of original coin purse as well. So that has the same leather exterior. It's sort of a shiny finish inside, so I would say that is possibly non-leather, but it has a sort of a rolled gold finish to the top of the purse and snaps shut with a very pleasing sound. The bag itself has a slightly squared base and has sort of the hinged mechanism to close it, and here we go with the clasp. Yeah, this is a stunning piece. So we're asking just £35 for this item. So in fact, it's 2 pieces with the added bonus of that coin purse. The purse inside doesn't look like it's actually ever been used. So got to change that. This item has so much life in it. Clearly lots of history, but the future memories are of your own making, while purchasing an item that is gift aided, so attracts that extra 25 pence in the pound at no cost to the customer or to the donor. And this bag will put smiles on the children's faces, children with brain injury receiving support and care from the Children's Trust.
This is the Planet Reigate podcast.
Thanks very much indeed for listening to this week's show.
Next week on the Planet Reigate podcast.
From charming chihuahuas to dashing Dalmatians, can I keep this going, to lovely Labradors. How about that? The local meetup group for dogs, and the woman with a grand plan to transform the face of Redhill. That and a whole host of other features and stories from places you love and people you know in next week's edition of the Planet Reigate podcast. Don't forget to subscribe or follow us on your favourite podcast app so you don't miss an episode. Follow us on Facebook. You can also listen on Spotify and YouTube as well as your favourite podcast app. And also tell your friends as well about the Planet Reigate podcast. It's unique and it's only for RH1, 2, 3 and a little bit of RH6 as well.
The 60-second soundscape. Local natural sounds, uninterrupted.
Before we go, at the end of the show, natural sounds from a place you know. And this week, the mallards, coots and gulls at Earslwood Lakes.
The Planet Reigate podcast was produced and presented by Peter Stewart.